I typically tend to preface these videos with, oh, I haven't listened to that many EPs in this whatever year it is, 2019, 2020, etc, etc. But in fact, it turns out this year, 2021, has actually been pretty stacked for EPs, and I was having to bump out some EPs in my top 10. So it seemed as though it was a perfect time to highlight 10 EPs for the year that I think have been pretty damn good. And I will say, out of the past few years since I've started this YouTube channel, since 2017, this is the best year for EPs I think I've come across in quite some time. Certainly whilst doing the channel as well. Like I say, I tend to struggle, if anything, to put a list together. But this year I was bumping out EPs and having to make sure, you know, I've got a solid top 10, and I have this year. And there's been plenty of greatness. There's been plenty of greatness for the year. There's been fantastic music across the board, especially within the EP world. And I want to highlight them all here. Even one quick honourable mention too, Kessler's Foul Play. I mean, it's his second EP of the year. I do think it is still very good, even if the other EP was in fact better. But I still think what Kessler is doing at the moment is absolutely worth your time. It takes the EP in a more like acidy techno direction. So I think it actually has potential to be more accessible than the other EP he dropped. So yeah, one honourable mention. Now to the top 10. Starting with Cameo Blush in Cadence. This EP has been pretty overlooked as the year's gone on. It's an early EP. It came out quite near the start of the year, but it is not one to be forgotten. And I have to be the guy to tell you right now that this is one of the best UK-based artists at the moment. I'm really excited to see where Cameo Blush goes. The track in Cadence is absolutely stellar. The second track as well on this EP is sublime. Just a really well put together, like, broken step EP here. It's sort of like two-step at times, but it kind of feels like it's broken and jagged. And then of course you've got the drum and bass elements that really kick in as well. Just a stellar EP, this one, to be honest. I think this should be on anyone's EP list, and if you haven't heard it, listen to it before you make your list. And I could probably say that about every EP on this list, let's be honest. Another overlooked one at number 9, Versylen. Definitely a worthwhile EP here, a friend of Vale Smith's, which is how I found out about it. I would even say there's probably some Vale Smith influence on this very EP as well. I think if you're going to listen to any track, listen to the final track on this EP, Sign. I think this track is absolutely stunning, to be honest. I think it's a stunning track. And the EP itself is just showing bags of potential in this artist, and I think you should be definitely checking it out. More stuff, more music here, sorry, for electronic fans. The trend continues, because at number 8 we have another electronic based artist. This time it is Machinedrum, basically an extension of what he was doing on his last album, and his last album is one of his best albums, I will have you know. So definitely listen to that album from last year, and then check out this EP, because I think it'll make sense for the progression. And the track only ones, I just think is absolutely wonderful, really. I think the vocal sample on that track is just put together like so perfectly. And these tracks again just showcase really the talent of Machinedrum and how good he is. So it's really just, like I say, an extension of a body of work that is just getting better and better and better as time goes on. The trend is broken, because at number 7 we do not have a similar artist to the previous 3. We have Yves Tumor with the EP that once again is extending from the album that they dropped last year, which I think is perfect, because it feels as though we have a rock star made coming through here. Shout out to Playboy Carti, I'm going to be honest, Yves Tumor, you're a bigger rock star. The track Jackie, which was the lead single, it feels like, you know, early 2000s rock mixed with classic glam rock. I just feel as though Yves Tumor at the moment is nailing this sound, and it feels as though it's always been something they wanted to do. They wanted to be this like iconic rock star figure that is so mysterious and so elusive and so strange and so creative, because there are some moments on this EP that no one else would really dare to do in the rock world. And I think Yves Tumor at the moment is killing it, and I'm just waiting for the day there is a breakout huge single that makes it viral on some rock radio stations or something like that, because Yves Tumor right now is killing it. This EP is so good. At number 6 we have Disclosure. Talk about extensions of previous albums, like this is the trend of the last 3, isn't it? I mean, here sitting at number 6 is Disclosure, giving us even more energy than they gave us on the album that was literally called Energy. I liked Energy, it was pretty good, but my god, Never Enough is just an EP that never slows down. It is just pummeling from start to finish. Absolute relentless house bangers that is perfect for any running playlist. Seriously, I think this is like the running album or EP of the year. And they're just taking it back to basics on this EP. It's really classic house jams from start to finish. It's certainly nothing, you know, completely new and adventurous for them or even for the genre, but who cares when they sound this good. Now into the top 5 with the most aptly titled EP of the year, 4 new hit songs. And there is not a waste of music on this EP. It is literally just 4 hit new songs. They are exactly what they say they are. DOS is one of the most exciting new artists at the moment for me because these tracks really blend together the sugariness of pop music while also bringing in those electro house moments, those even atmospheric dream pop moments in the song Strawberry, which is a really stunner of a track. Honestly, if you're a dream pop fan, that has got to be a track you listen to this year before the year is out, because I think anyone that loves that style of music is going to be having this on their songs list easily. But to be honest, I actually think the first track and the 4th track are the best tracks. I know Strawberry is a really good track, but it just goes to show how good this EP is because there's an easy contender for best track within every song. The final track takes a really cool vocal sample and just goes in a bit more of a bubbly direction. The first track is just such a summery tune. This artist DOS, man, right now is killing it. I'm so excited for an album, because if there's an album of this quality, of 4 hits like this, but for like 12 tracks, it could be album of the year. Drop an album, DOS, do it. Number 4, my boy Sam Gellaitry. Sam Gellaitry is at number 4. We have this EP4, which is a complete turn in direction for Sam. We've seen him put out some really cool, wonky bass electronic music for years. He's been an unsung hero in electronic music easily. I don't know why he's never really broken big and, you know, gotten a yellow flannel from Fantano or something like that. He needs that kind of recognition because he deserves it. And by now, we've got a new Sam Gellaitry who is singing. He's giving us his voice. And he sounds great. I really like his voice included on these tracks. Duo and Assumptions are pop bangers. I wasn't expecting Sam Gellaitry to give us pop EP of the year, but he might have done it. He might have given us the best pop EP of the year. Seriously, these tracks are smash hits. At number 3, one of the most creative EPs of the year, Voljum with Dayscapes. This EP is very, very cool. The dubstep influence that comes through I think is really cool. The wonkiness that comes through. All these tracks are so elasticy and just so creatively put together. Cafe Mañana, man. This is one of the coolest tracks I've heard all year. Even some cool like new jazz elements coming through on some of these tracks as well. Honestly, some of the most creative genre combining, genre blending I've heard all year. This has to be another EP contender of the year for everyone who hasn't heard it, because this 100% would be a contender for you if you would hear it, because I think it is certainly up there with one of the best pieces of music in 2021. Not even just in, not even just in EPs, but in albums in general. This is such a creative feat, and yet there's 2 more higher than it. 2 more. I do feel like this and Voljum could flip-flop, but for me at the moment, Dora is at number 2. Love this EP. This is probably one of the most straightforward and simple EPs of the year compared to some of the more creative and bombastic EPs I've mentioned on this list. But sometimes simplicity is the way forward, and Dora, I think, is doing a great job at giving us some really lovely and just heartwarming pop music at the moment. Seriously love her voice. I think this is what makes an EP like this so good and what makes it so high on my list, because she's really expressive. She doesn't just sit back and give us some really standard, vocals sort of boring singing tunes that I've heard so much of. She brings out a bit more of a personality in her voice, particularly on the first track and particularly on tracks like Polly. Multiply is great as well. I love Dora, man. I love Dora the Explore Jar. I think she's great. I think she's absolutely great. I think anyone that is wanting a new singer-songwriter, especially, you know, a female singer-songwriter at the moment, I think you'd be a fool not to check out this EP, Digital Meadow. Second favourite EP of the year for me. I think Dora Jar has a lot of potential and I'm excited for more music in the future. And number one, the biggest and best EP of the year, the most expansive sounding EP of the year, the most atmospheric EP of the year, Kessler's Ambivalent. Yes, I did mention him right at the very start of this video as an honourable mention, but of course the EP that tops this list is the one that kicked off my I guess knowingness of him, if that makes sense. Ambivalent is just such a fantastic EP. It is a pretty long EP, as EPs go, it is a pretty long EP, but I think this is insane. The drum and bass textures on this thing are ridiculous. The speed that some of these tracks go is insane, to be honest, especially Moonlight Branches. It really sounds like, you know, you're traveling as fast as you can, like traveling as like fast as like the speed of light through the universe. You know what I mean? It's just like a really dark, weird sort of zone that you're in, and you're just going. There's an iciness to this EP. The atmosphere is so thick, like there's just such a thickness of a cloudy thickness covering this whole thing, and it just sounds so cool. It really puts you in a really interesting zone while you're listening to this thing. And then of course you've got the detail that is packed in the production. Oh my goodness, this guy has such an ear for detail. He just knows the exact kind of things to put in each track. It just sounds so cool. One of the coolest EPs of the year, one of the coolest musical moments of the year, to be honest. This EP is absolutely stellar, and again I feel like it's going a bit underrated, a bit overlooked, so check it out. It is my EP of the year. That is the highest praise I can give it. All 10 of these EPs are very praised highly from me. Does that even make sense? I don't know. But I can assure you, these EPs are absolutely fantastic. This has been the best EP year in a long time. Like I say, since doing this channel, this is top of my list for best EPs since starting. Like out of the, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, out of the 5 different EP lists I've done, easily the best one. So if you're going to check out any EPs on my recommendations, it's got to be these 10, 10, not 5, 10. Please let me know your own list in the comments as well. Thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts on these EPs if you have heard them. If you haven't, check them out. Let me know after what you think. Thank you for watching as always. Check out my Patreon because it is list season and this is a great time of year to support your good friend Ryan over here at Not Real Music, who is going to give you so many cool lists from now up until like Christmas-ish. So there you go. This is the kickstart of the big EP, the big list season that you guys I'm hoping are anticipating, I'm hoping you're excited for, and I hope you enjoy it as well. So yes, give your friend Ryan a Christmas present by going on my Patreon and maybe supporting me. Just subscribe as well. That is a wonderful support, you know, as is liking my videos, watching them as often as you do. That is amazing as is. So thank you as always. Have a good day and goodbye.